Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Offer our respectful obeisances and all of the simple life of the devotee of the Lord, for just like desire trees fulfill the desires of everyone, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. That's good. Thank you. He'll give me. Okay. That's what I'm afraid of. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jandaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Then, now, we say a Jayam or not? Yes? Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Bribhaja Kacharja Shtotar Sadashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Shri Kahosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas, Hari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Radha, Krishna Gopa Gopinatha, Shyamakunda, Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Gangamaya Jamunamaya Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Samat Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nivishesha Shinivadi Paschatya Deshatayani. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 63, verses 35 through 36. So the first part I do just repeat the whole verse? Yes? First 4 lines, okay. But I say the whole, okay. Nabhir nabognir mukam ambureto Dhyao Sirsham Asa Shutir Angrir Urvi Chandro Mano Yasya Drig Arka Atma Ahang Sumudro Jatharam Bhujendra. Do I repeat it a few times or I just let you chant now? I'll do one more. Nabhir nabognir mukam ambureto Dhyao sirsham asa shutir angrir urvi Chandromano yasya drig arka atma Ahang sumudro jatarang bhujendraha. Nabhir nabognir mukam ambureto Sirsham asha shutir angrir urvi Chandromano yasya drig arka atma Ahang samudro jatarang bhujendraha. Anyone else? Nabhir nabognir mukam ambureto
sa sutra angri urvi. Mano yasya drig arka atma. Samudra jatarang bhujendraha. Samudra jataram bhujendraha. Anyone else? Mother Tulsi? Okay. So we'll read the word for word meanings? The second line and then? Okay. Okay. Romani yasyo sadhayom bhuvahaha kesha virinksho dishana visargaha Prajapatir hridayang yasya dharma savai bhavan purusha loka kalpaha. Then, word for word meanings or all of them? Yeah? Yes. Nabihi, the navel. Nabaha, the sky. Agnihi, fire. Mukam, the face. Ambu, water. Ritaha, the semen. Dyao, heaven. Sirsham, the head. Asaha, the directions. Shrutihi, the sense of hearing. Angrihi, the foot. Urvi, the earth. Chandraha, the moon. Manaha, the mind. Yasya, whose. Drik, sight. Arkaha, the sun. Atma, self-awareness. Aham, I. Shiva. Samudraha, the ocean. Jataram, the abdomen. Bhuja, the arm. Indraha, Indra. Romani, the hairs on the body. Yasya, whose. Ashadhaya, herbal plants. Ambuvahaha, water-bearing clouds. Keshaha, the hairs on the head. Virinshaha, Lord Brahma. Dishana, the discriminating intelligence. Visargaha, the genitals. Prajapati, the progenitor of mankind. Hridayam, the heart. Yasya, whose. Dharmaha, religion. Saha, he. Vai, indeed. Bhavan, your good self. Purushaha, the primeval creator. Loka, the worlds. Kalpaha, produced from whom? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada. The sky is your navel, fire your face, water your semen, and heaven your head. The cardinal directions are your sense of hearing. Herbal plants, the hairs on your body, and water-bearing clouds, the hair on your head. The earth is your foot, the moon your mind, the sun your vision, while I am your ego. The ocean is your abdomen, Indra your arm, Lord Brahma your intelligence, the progenitor of mankind your genitals, and religion your heart. You are indeed the original Purusha, creator of the worlds. Purport by His, or should I have you repeat or not? You repeat it? But do you generally? Please repeat. The sky is your navel. Oh, wait, after the purport? Okay. The sky is your navel. Fire your face. Water your semen. And heaven your head. The cardinal directions are your sense of hearing. Herbal plants, the hairs on your body. And water-bearing clouds, the hair on your head. The earth is your foot. The moon your mind. And the sun your vision. While I am your ego. The ocean is your abdomen. Indra your arm. Lord Brahma your intelligence. The progenitor of mankind your genitals. And religion your heart. You are indeed the original Purusha, creator of the worlds. Hare Krishna. Some living entity fell out of the flower, a big one. Okay. Hare Krishna. So purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Sridhar Swami explains that just as the tiny bugs living inside a fruit cannot comprehend the fruit, so we tiny living beings cannot understand the supreme absolute truth in whom we exist. It is difficult to understand the cosmic manifestation of the Lord, what to speak of His transcendental form as Shri Krishna. Therefore, we should surrender in Krishna consciousness, and the Lord Himself will help us understand. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militang Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my darkened eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Mukam Karuti Vachalam Pangang Langai Te Girim Yakripata Mahang Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Mukam Karuti Vachalam Pangang Langai Te Girim Yakripata Mahang Bande Paramananda Madhavam. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. There's one more aspect to this. What do you say, the next one? There's two verses that one says, Nashtapaisha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. And that translation is? Or that's the one I just said? I better just, okay. Okay, so obviously I think all of us, when we read this verse, we're reminded of, in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna describes the universal form. Everything in the kingdom of God, or the creation of God, is personal. But people, in general, they don't know this, because that prayer we say to Srila Prabhupada every day, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarnam. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are so kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Dev and delivering the Western countries, which are filled with voidism and impersonalism. So I was thinking how the example I used to give on Sankirtan sometimes, that we have no idea of our actual situation. Most people are heavy duty in the mode of ignorance. And Prabhupada often, he points out in a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that the living entities, he says, are gliding towards hell. So people are in the darkness of ignorance. They speculate. They don't know what is their actual situation. They say, I think, it could be like this, I believe. Prabhupada said, as soon as somebody says, I think, that means they're an illusion. They don't know. But yet we have so many professors and scholars. Like the example was given that when we were young and we went to high school and college that the textbooks described a particular phenomena or situation as if it was eternally a fact, and then 10 years later they find out some new information. They have to change that criterion. And so then they weren't actually in knowledge, but they were teaching. So there's one fun story, my godbrother, our godbrother, his name is Vitaleshvara, and he's in New Orleans with me. Very nice devotee, by the way. If nobody is sitting in class, he'll give class. Every day he gives Bhagavatam class. If nobody can be sitting, of course Krishna is there. We can't say nobody's there. That's impersonal. Krishna's there. But he will give a class as if people were sitting there, you know. But we don't know really who comes to these classes. We don't know, just like one time in the kirtan, Srila Prabhupada, I think he was chuckling or laughing, and they said, Prabhupada, why are you laughing? And he said, because Narada Muni was here, and he saw you Malechas and Yavanas chanting and dancing, you meat eater chanting Hare Krishna. And he was very, how should I say, he was enjoying the sight of so many personalities like that chanting Hare Krishna. So we don't know who comes. One time this devotee named Pran Govinda, some of you may know him, he came, I think he's under Maharaj's tutelage, and he may become sannyasi. He's trying to become sannyasi. And I think Maharaj was training him to be a GBC, actually, at one point. But anyway, he comes sometimes to New Orleans, and he said, Jamila, one time, we're about to begin Bhagavatam, he says, go pull up another chair, an empty chair, and put it there. He said, we don't know who may come here, you know. Like, who knows who will show up, what great personality. So, anyway, Vitaleshwar always tells this story that one time he was in Philadelphia, and there was, let's see if I can tell it nicely. He was in Philadelphia, and generally he wouldn't go into the darshans, but somehow or other one devotee invited him, why don't you go in the room, Prabhupada's there. And there's one professor that was coming. He was an Indian professor, and so Vitaleshwar sat in the back of the room, and Srila Prabhupada was at his desk, and very relaxed pose. You know, sometimes Prabhupada was very relaxed. So anyway, this professor came in, and they introduced him to Srila Prabhupada. And I can't really tell you all the details of the story. The bottom line was that Vitaleshwar said it was very clear that this professor had come to show up Srila Prabhupada. That he brought his disciples, his students, and he wanted to show that he was more knowledgeable than Srila Prabhupada. And anyway, I shouldn't say this story. What's that? What is? Something. Oh, you know this story. It's a hilarious story. Somehow or other. Anyway, I shouldn't have brought up the story because I don't know how to tell all the detail. Please. He asked Swarup Damodar, what is that called, Swarup Damodar? He was a scientist, and and Prabhupada said, he's a cheater, Srila Prabhupada. He's a cheater. He does not know, and yet he's like this. And then some more things transpired, and the professor was getting then Prabhupada had him look up one word. I can't remember the word. Do you remember the word? No, he had him look up one word, a very simple English word describing what Srila Prabhupada was trying to explain to him, and he said, I don't know. Prabhupada said, you're a professor and you don't know? And then he had one of the devotees look up the word, the English Webster dictionary definition of the word, like this. And he says, no. He started getting animated, the professor. He said, no, I do not want this. He said, I want the epistemological explanation of what is such and such. And Prabhupada said, get out. He just said to him, get out, like heavy. And he said, and all of a sudden you hear these big thundering footsteps coming down the halls. Brahmananda had been in the next room. in his gamsha and bare-chested, and you hear this coming down the hall. And Vitaleshwar's explanation was that Vitaleshwar said he took up the entire doorway when he came in. He was gigantic, like 350 pounds, 400, and he took up the entire doorway, and he pointed to the small body Indian professor. He said, "Come with me, sir," like this. And the Indian man became very humble. He said, he says, "I have done something wrong?" And then Brahmana said, "Before you do, sir, come with me." So he started, Anyway, the bottom line is, I think he ended up staying, and at the end, Prabhupada said, "Please get him some prasadam." But it was clear to all his disciples that Prabhupada he got the opposite result of what he wanted, which was to show Srila Prabhupada up and be the more knowledgeable person like this. Anyway, I got really off track there. I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. So, by the way, I looked at this verse last night, and Diver can tell you that I was I really tried to do some research, which I'm not very good at. I'm not really very scholarly or a studious type of person. I'm a more spontaneous kind of so-called devotee. And so, but I did my due diligence. I was writing down, I got a ton of notes here. But I was trying to think, well, what am I going to say, And I was thinking, if I start speaking, it's going to be a rambling mess. I'm going to go from one, because you know how sometimes when you're giving a class and you start going in one direction, and then you forget where you're going, and you get sidetracked, and you start another point, and then from that point you get completely lost, and everybody's thinking, what the hell, So, but I had some ideas. Anyway, I'm going to try to put something together here. One idea I had was, by the way, today is Father's Day. So I wish Dayavira a happy Father's Day. Drishta, I don't know if you have children. Happy Father's Day. But I thought of this, that Krishna is our Supreme Father. And I want to read that verse. I think I have it saved right here. So it's a Bhagavad Gita verse, and Krishna is describing, he says, Sarva yoni shakunteya murtaya sabhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadyonir ahang bija pradapita. So it is to be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father. Purport by His Divine Grace. In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original Father of all living entities. Happy Father's Day, Krishna. Everybody say that. Happy Father's Day, Krishna. Now that may seem sahaja, maybe to some of you. But one time, there was one advanced devotee, GBC Guru Sannyasi. He actually said, we went to a home program in New Orleans, and he actually said, if you want to know his name, I'll tell you. But he actually said, we should actually, even though we don't love Krishna, some of you may be pure devotees, how would I know? But you may already love Krishna. But many of us, we don't really love Krishna yet. We're trying to love Krishna by engaging in sadhana bhakti. In America, we have the saying, fake it until you make it. So we serve Krishna as if we loved him out of duty, like this. And hopefully one day we will end up loving Krishna. But anyway, he said in that home program that we should say, and you can comment on this after a question and answer period. I want to see what you all think. But he said that we should actually say sometimes privately to ourselves, to Krishna, we should say, Krishna, I love you. Like this. He said we should do that sometimes, But anyway, the rest of the purport. In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original Father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma is situated. Everywhere there are living entities. Within the earth there are living entities. Even within water and within fire. All these appearances are due to the mother, material nature, and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with living entities who come out in various forms at the time of creation according to their past deeds. I'm hoping to segue into some little aspect of things that I like to focus on sometimes, especially when I go out on Sankirtan, right? We do it out of duty sometimes, not spontaneously. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, Jai, Mother Chintamani ki Jai. We have to remind ourselves of the philosophy. And I have all these prayers that I say. I'm not going to read them to you. If anybody wants, I can text them. What do you call it? Text them to you maybe later on. But I really feel these prayers that I say. Of course, many of them are based on prayers we all know, but some of them are my own idea to pray to Krishna. Before I go out, I want to make sure I have, as they say, the Americans saying, I want to make sure I have all the bases covered. You know, that I have the right mentality, the right consciousness, the right mood when I go out there. And that gives me strength. Once I start, I know, okay, I said all these prayers, and Krishna, I prayed sincerely. So let me just do my, as Prabhupada would say, do your level best. Prabhupada said there's one Mataji that was having difficulty on Sankirtan, and she was very mental, and many times she'd become bewildered. She was writing Srila Prabhupada about this, and Prabhupada's answer was, just do your level best. I mean, really, what can we do? We try our best, hopefully. So, by the way, you can remind me where I was trying to go with this. Yes. So, Krishna is a person. He's the supreme person. And, you know, one thing I remind myself when I go out, if I'm feeling apprehensive, I always pray to Krishna for the rest of the time, at least while I'm out here. Better I pray for my whole life like this, but at least for the rest of the time while I'm out here, let me desire nothing less than your pure devotional service. That means I serve, unconditionally and uninterruptedly. And I find that many devotees who sometimes happen to be in New Orleans, that they will be having some difficulty, and then they go sit down in their car and take a break. That's all right. You know, you read something, you try to get inspired to keep going out. But myself, I decide that I have a time quota. I'm going to go out, let's say 3.5 hours. I will not stop. I'm kind of like the Terminator. I won't stop. No matter what's happening, I won't give up. I never give up. The only time I ever was going to give up, Krishna had some plan and he arranged something that was remarkable. And I ended up getting a photograph of the world's second best chess player. You may know him, I don't know. He's Oriental. He's the best. Probably by now he could be the best in the world. But I have a photo of him with the Bhagavad Gita. And I would not have run into him had I not decided I'm going back to my car. That was the one time all these years I was thinking, I was having such a hard time. And the people were so hellish, I just said, I'm just going to go back to my car. But when I went back, then I saw this big gathering of people, and I started asking questions. I started talking to his film producer. They're doing a film documentary on him. And I said, well, do you think I could talk to him? Do you think I could present a gift to him? And because I had already schmoozed with him, and got in with him. So he said, yeah, I think, And next thing I know, I didn't even have to do that. That person was coming right towards me, So that was all some plan. So before I go out, I always say to Krishna, that Lord Krishna, I say that, I have my plans and my desires, but you have your plan, and you have a plan for each of us. And your plan's way better than my plan. So let me just adopt your plan. Please reveal to me what is your plan. So Krishna, we have to meditate, how Krishna, Prabhupada used to say that Krishna is more anxiety for you to go back home, back to Godhead, than you are to go back. So I always pray before I go out, go out that Srila Prabhupada, for the rest of this day, let my only anxiety be to relieve your anxiety, and let my only desire be to relieve the Lord's anxieties, their lordships, all the beautiful deities on the altar like this. And then I similarly pray to them for the rest of this day. Let my only anxiety be to relieve the anxiety of Srila Prabhupada, your pure devotee. Let my only desire be to satisfy his desire, like this. So, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada points out how Krishna, he doesn't not want to interfere with the independence of the living entities, right? We want to enjoy this material world separately from Krishna. We want to control and lord it over this material nature for our own sense gratification. That's the whole reason we're here. So Krishna, he can't put a gun to our head and say, love me. That's not love. So Krishna is aloof. And while we're here, generally we're being conducted by the demigods and the three modes of material nature. Krishna puts all this in place. It's all going on automatically. He's off enjoying with the gopis. He doesn't need to personally and be involved. But Prabhupada makes a point that, and I read this a few years ago, and it stuck with me. Sometimes we read something that sticks with us that we want to definitely meditate on and remember and bring back in the forefront of our minds. And one thing okay, I'm getting off track. Not off track, but there was a point I was going to make. Tell me what. It was, go ahead. Anybody? Yes, thank you. So Drishta gets an A+ for being a great listener. Okay. No, it's not a verse. Prabhupada said that generally, yes, we're being conducted automatically. We're being governed by the demigods and by the modes of nature, and Krishna doesn't interfere. But Prabhupada said once one soul sincerely surrenders to Krishna and engages in some devotional service, from that point on, Prabhupada said, Krishna is directly involved in the life of that person. And he's always trying to make different arrangements for the deliverance of that living entity, that he ultimately comes back to him. He personally gets involved like this. So that's really wonderful. That means Krishna has a plan for each of us, that we've, hopefully all of us have rendered some service at some point or other, and Krishna's like this. So, but the point was that Prabhupada makes a point also that there's so many living entities that haven't got the fortune of engaging in some devotional service, and therefore the devotees go out on the street and they chant Hare Krishna and they distribute books. Let me think of the point. There's another point I was going to make. So in talking about that point that the Prabhupada said the devotees of Krishna, they're more merciful than Krishna in a sense, because they know the desire of the Lord, and Krishna doesn't interfere with the independence of the living entities. But the devotee, knowing the desire of Krishna that they be delivered, he goes out and he performs so many austerities and gets spit in the face or, slugged, whatever. He's trying to engage them in some service because that's their ultimate benefit. They don't know that. Like Prahlad Maharaj said, right? Nate vidu svarkataking ivishnum. What's the verse? Say it. No, you don't know that one by heart. Anybody know that verse by heart? Nate vidu svarkataking vishnu na bahir artamanina, something like that. That the living entities, is that the verse? That he says that the living entities, they do not know what is their real self-interest, right? Yes, they're trying to be happy in so many varieties of ways, but they're never satisfied, never happy. They've got the big house on the hill, the trophy wife, they got the 5 cars in the garage, beautiful car, but they want more cars, they want more money because $1 million is not enough, they need $2 million. And then there's, the threefold miseries, and birth, death, old age, disease. So, bhutva praliyate, is that the So life after life, they're struggling and they're being defeated. So Krishna's greatest quality, does anybody know? Anybody want to raise their hand, say they know what Krishna's greatest quality is? Prabhupada said. Anyone? Prabhupada? Anyone take a guess? Yes, Jai, A++. Prabhupada said Krishna's greatest quality is his compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So the devotee, knowing Krishna's desire, we should also try to cultivate that anxiety. When we see people on the street, you see these people, they're suffering, like when you're in the market. One time I was in a market, and I'll end here, but I was in a market in Florida, in the grocery market, and there was a lady in front of me, a big black lady, and she had like a hunk of beef, like about 5 pounds. It was like a huge one. And I was thinking to myself, Krishna, I'd like to somehow or other benefit this lady, but I don't know exactly what to do in this situation, So somehow or other, I gave the lady at the counter, that was the checkout lady, a Higher Taste cookbook, and I described it to her because we had she noticed I was a vegetarian. She said, I've been interested, I've been wanting. So I gave her that book, and I know the lady overheard me. And then there was somebody that already was getting their groceries that had already, and the lady told me, the meat-eating lady told me I could go in front of her for some reason. We know what the reason's going to be. So I gave both of them cookbooks, and I looked over to her. I said, would you like one too? She said, yeah, I'd love one. So I said, well, I have to go out to the car and get one for you. So Krishna fulfilled my desire that I wanted her to get some. So we should be desiring like that. When we see people on the street next to us in the market, we all have some opportunity to say something, right? Prabhupada said to Saraswati, she's a preacher. He said that she tells people, do you know who Krishna is? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's preaching. They heard the holy name. So we should be in that consciousness as followers of Prabhupada Nugas and followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we should be in that mood of love and compassion for our brothers who are suffering. They're really suffering. And so we have an opportunity. And if we don't take that opportunity and we walk away, we could have done something. Of course, Krishna will still make some arrangement for them, probably. But you can get the credit. Why not? You be the one, like in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Krishna told Arjuna that this battle's already fought. These books are already distributed. Like sometimes if you're in Maya, you don't want to go out and say whatever, but you think, wow, I could have been the one that pleased Krishna and gave them a chance like this. So I'm going to end there. What's that? A story? But there's 2 minutes. What's that? Oh, but what? No questions in it? No? I would love to, but it's, me, I get started and I can't stop. Yes. 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 I have a great Glubjaman story for you one day. Really, say it really quick. He said that Prabhupada's compassion and mercy during that story was about the professor, that at the end, Prabhupada didn't just let him go away. Prabhupada said, make sure he gets some prasadam. Make sure he gets prasad. He did. I didn't know that. Quick story. Okay, Prabhupada, Rasada, our godbrother, he passed away already, but he told me the story that he was sitting in Paris, France, in a similar situation in a room, and there was some man who had come there, a professor or something, some city official, something like that, and there's a big bowl of sweets, maybe Simply Wonderfuls or some, I can't remember, and so the man was going on, and Prabhupada's eyes were rolling like this because he wouldn't stop talking, right? And all devotees, they were like, they could see Prabhupada was really fed up that this person won't let Prabhupada say, he just keeps talking and talking, so Prabhupada is looking around like this. All of a sudden, he grabbed a sweet ball when the man, Brahman, somebody came to the door opened, the man was distracted, he turned around to see, and Prabhupada grabbed a sweet ball and went like this, and when the man turned around, Prabhupada was like, and all the boys were laughing their heads off, like, because she had taken that opportunity to take a sweet. Do you get it? Kind of? No? Not really? Prabhupada had a great sense of humor, It would be rude. If that man saw Prabhupada do that while he was still sitting there, it would be very rude. So the man, when he turned around, Prabhupada grabbed the sweet, and he tilted his head back and opened his mouth, plopped it in his mouth, and then when the man turned around, Prabhupada had his mouth closed and his tongue was like this with making the cheek stick out on either side with his tongue, but he was chewing, and all the devotees were just laughing their heads off like this. And the man was asking, what's so funny, like this? Anyway, I guess he tells the story better, Rasada. You'd have to hear it from him. When you go back to Godhead and you see him, you can, Rasada, yes. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. No. Okay. What's that? Marlon. Thank you for tolerating me.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindadalayataksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Gandhar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priti manti Pasyanti panti kayanti Jiram naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
So in the mood that Dramila Prabhu has given us, let's all think about Harinam Sankirtan today at Weaver Street Market at 11:30. We're going to be out there chanting for all the devotees, for all the non-devotees, maybe for the devotees too. But come at 11:30 and we'll all be there. And it's just a wonderful way to fulfill the desires of Srila Prabhupada and the whole parampara. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaurachandra Bole, 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 Kodanidra Jayo Maya, Pichachira Kole, Kodanidra Jayo Maya, Pichachira Bole, Baji Bo Bolia Eshe, Samsara Bitore, Baji Bo Bolia Eshe, Samsara Bitore, Bulia Rohile to me, Avidyara Bare, Bulia Rohile to me, Avidyara Bare, Tomare Loite Ami, Hoinu Avatara, Tomare Loite Ami, Hoinu Avatara, Ami Bina Bandhuara, Keache Tamara, Ami Bandhuara, Keache Tamara, Ene Cheyashodi Maya, Nashi Baralagi, Aine Cheyashodi Maya, Nashi Baralagi, Harinama Maha Mantra, loud to me Magi, 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 Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu, Charane Pariya, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu, Charana Pariya, say Hari Nama Mantra, Loilo Magiya, 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 Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaurachandra Bole, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaurachandra Bole, Otanidra Jaya Maya, Pichachira Kole, Otanidra Jaya Maya Ichachira Mole Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Golokananda Radha Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Kananda Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Radhagolokananda ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you suffer. Take this great chant for deliverance, Mahamantra, the names of Hari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, falling at the Lord's lotus feet, take shelter of the Harinam mantra, the Lord's holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam, Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairagya. Purivardhanam Pratibanam Banamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Nimita Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budao Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nainam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgadru Dayagira Pulakarnishitam vapukada tava namagrahane bhavishyati yugayatam namishena chakshusha pravashayatam shunayatam jagat sarvam govindam virahename ashlishyavapadam ritam manastumam adarshanam marmahatakarotuva yatatava vidadatu lampato mat prananatas sa eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want her followers. I only want this devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shastaka Ki Jai.